Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bola Show podcast. This week, we're looking at from a very different angle of football. As you all know, in the Bola Show, we have covered so many aspects of football. We covered women's football, men's football. We've interviewed international coaches, players, former legends. I mean, basically everybody. But there is another aspect of football which I think is very important that needs to be highlighted and needs to be talked very much a lot, in my opinion. And that is recreational football and grassroots football. And for that, I can't think of anyone else better than our guest today, none other than Khal from Padang Bola Sepak. Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you for having me again. Oh my God, it's been, I think the last time I was on with you guys was the 10-year anniversary of the 2010 Suzuki Cup.
Yes, that was exactly that episode. You were there. Okay. So how's it going on with you, Khal, lately? I mean, tell us, what's the latest with regards to Khal and Padang Bola Sepak?
With regards to Khal, on a personal basis, things can be better. We do our best to control things within our vicinity of control lah. But in terms of Padang Bola Sepak, itulah, because of the pandemic in the last 2 years have really taught us a lot of things, personally and professionally. So itulah, we try to do our best to keep going and growing. But itulah, this Omicron wave has really jumbled up a lot of our mental and emotional fatigue lah.
Yep. And just for our listeners out there, the numbers are going up again. Let's, do our part, follow the SOPs, make sure you guys get vaccinated. Those who haven't, get your booster. Those who haven't, and most important of all, let's keep everybody safe and all that. All right. So
exactly.
Let's jump into the first question. Perhaps we can start with give us the simple definition that you can give us, Khal. What is grassroots and recreational football?
Okay. Do cut me off if I go on a long tangent. Okay. So
sure.
Okay. So grassroots football. So a few years ago, before the pandemic, everything started. We met up with FAM actually. The then head of grassroots football department, which was Mr. Samuel Siu. So Samuel has reached out to myself, Bombay, Futsals, and many other communities. And then we had a very nice dialogue about how we can work together, incorporate things, and provide football for all. Then during our opening salvo of discussions, he actually shared with us the definition of grassroots football, which is FAM follows AFC with the definition of the Asian Football Confederation, the definition of grassroots football. So you can actually go to the AFC, the Asian Football Confederation, on your website. The definition for grassroots football is non-elite, non-professional football. So everything from social football, amateur football, even to a certain sense, beach soccer is a part of grassroots football. So FAM adopts the same definition of grassroots of what is grassroots football. Any listeners out there, again, that last time I checked was last year, so it could change by year to year. So any listeners out there want to check and correct me on social media, you may well do so. So that is the definition. So ever since brother Samuel shared that, we adopted that after speaking to the PBS team and also our NGO Recreational committee on the definition. We decided, okay, we're gonna continue with the name grassroots. So that's why, and also I instructed my admin, who has been taking care of the Padang Bola Sepak social media account since May of 2020, to use grassroots not only for football but also for sports. Recreational football is basically a subsection of grassroots football. So you have to think of it as macam a pyramid lah. So grassroots memang kat bottom sekali lah. So inside the bottom foundation, not bottom lah, the foundation of the pyramid. There's the totality of it is grassroots football. Then inside there's social football, there's recreational football, there's amateur football, there's community football. We have to remember that everyone in Malaysia has their own definition of what grassroots football is. So we cannot pergi as conquerors and just tell them like, oh, you have to adopt our definition of what is recreational, what is so and so, because everyone has their own definition, kan? I think in the future it is, for now it's okay, but later on down the line, I think football sports authorities really need to clarify what is the definition of A, B, C, D, E lah.
So to put it in PBS punya focus, I would say grassroots is more on anything to do with non-professional side of football.
Correct, 110%.
Okay, all right.
So recreational, the subsection that we are focusing on, recreational sports, is basically when we started to do programs on the ground, futsal, football, and so on and so forth, we realized that people who plays with us do not like the term social football. Reason being, there's a stigma towards social football, meaning for them, they don't consider it as fun. The reason why they don't consider it as fun is because of, when we look at a Malaysian football ecosystem and pyramid, people who really has desire to go professional, they don't have any outlets to go. So where they go for the outlet is social football, and people who just wants to go play for fun, they don't have that opportunity when they play social leagues and so on and so forth. So that's why when you look at those viral videos, social football can be very intense and serious. So we are trying to create an alternative. So we played out with the names lah, macam, or do we call it community football? Then we realized that the word recreational is very new. Recreasi is very new, very fresh. So we reverse engineered the name lah. So macam, okay, recreasi, recreational. So, and then what does it mean to be recreational football? So the macam technical definition of recreational football for us is that we have no tackle rule. So we adopted it from Bombay. So for the people who wants to play with us, we discourage tackling. So basically it keeps everyone safe, because when things started to become negative, the whole atmosphere changes. So we try to avoid as many magnetic lightning rod of incidents lah. So we encourage a lot more passing, more participation. Our pool of people that we get to play pun macam it's all diverse. We have people kaki bangku, husband and wives, everyone from
so basically
so many
this
people.
So basically this is one area where all these Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira want to be no chance lah. Basically, it's not for them lah.
Correct. Because through our interaction with all these people, our participants, we call them, they share with us that it's very consistent. The only time they are allowed to play football or futsal or any other sports is through their is through their school alumni, their friends, their work colleagues, or their family members. So 4 outlets that they get to do. Or the 5th one is they organize themselves lah. So they never had an opportunity to go for an alternative, because the first 4, when they get invited to play, they usually dapat macam like a sarcastic warning lah, like, hey, you have to perform. Kalau tidak, you won't get invited next week. So that already discourages them from playing. So as Padang Bola Sepak, Bombay, and other initiatives like Brand New Waves, Bola Bola Bosan, TK Chronic, the Women's Social Football and all. They're all creating their own version of what is social football, what is recreational football. So as long as they are encouraging more and more people to participate, and their programs getting wider and wider and with more quality, you're getting more people to participate in sports. That's a win for us lah. That's a win for everyone.
I mean, this actually reminds me of my own personal experience. I can share with you. I used to join this one particular group to play futsal. I mean, and mainly because my ex-boss arranges these occasions. So I basically joined him lah after work, and I did realize their definition. I mean, of course, the whole idea is to have fun, but I did kind of realize, like, if I don't make that 50% tackle, and if I don't go for the charge for the ball, they tend to get quite annoyed, and can see from their body language, from their expression, like they're quite pissed off with me lah. But you see, because at the end of the day, we are just playing there for fun. It's not, win or lose, it doesn't matter. It's just, just basically to keep our body healthy and all that. That's about it, right? But then when I think carefully, I can understand where these guys are coming from, because these are former school team players, people who have competitive, who've been in that competitive environment. So I think they have not left that environment, even though today they're not actually professional players ke apa, just biasa je macam orang kita bekerja, and then after that evening, when they got time to go play futsal. But I think that desire inside them hasn't really left, even
Correct.
after all these years. So I would say, that kind of place is just not for me, because, I'm more of a believer that at the end of the day, it's not about tackling or, injuring ourselves and putting ourselves at risk. It's more of having a good time, having a laugh, and, just enjoying the game. I mean, would you agree that?
Yeah, 100%. We have to look at very areas of the psychology and the social side. For one, I agree with you, because like in the end, for us as organizers, we want people to go back home happy, injury-free, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually injury-free. That's our objective as organizers. However, on the other side of the coin, those your friends and also my friends juga who are very macam wakil sekolah and apa semua tu, I do feel for them, because like they are going through unprocessed traumas, because I'm pretty sure there are some people who kena ACL and then tiba-tiba tak dapat chance to go a level above or whatever. So it's really macam kesian lah that macam there are people, our friends out there, who haven't checked in with their traumas and begun to heal. Because one thing that the one review that I really enjoyed getting while doing all this organizing all these programs is that we are apparently a rehab center for the soul to play football again. So for we had one participant playing with us who plays on a certain level semua tu. They come and play with us sebab diorang nak rehab balik diorang punya spirit. So I don't know if you watched that last show, Steven, but there was one season 2 punya episode kan, where a professional player couldn't really couldn't check out from his mind. So the ex-veteran macam shows that the team leader on like, oh, when I'm having a rough patch, I go back down and play for fun, because football is supposed to be fun. It's a game,
In the words of Gordon Bombay.
Yeah. So definitely 100%. So macam you need to have that fun again lah. So in a way macam do really concern lah, macam like some of our friends out there who play all out, they might have some unchecked, unresolved traumas that they may have growing up. Maybe they have disappointed their family, themselves, and the teachers semua tu. So it's a very perspective punya things lah. On our end juga, we just want to play for fun apa semua tu. We may get backlash apa semua tu. But I'm going on and on here. So itulah ceritanya. So there's many angles that we have to accept and acknowledge, and how do we heal heal people from the traumas, and also get people to enjoy balik bola sepak, not only for themselves but for community, create networks and so on and so forth. I bet you, if you were to ask anyone who created any of these communities, they would have said that finding a community, participating in a community has helped them spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and even to a certain extent a job, because out of all the WhatsApp groups that all the social leagues and social teams ada, confirm ada a few people who always extend opportunities of jobs and careers apa semua tu to their WhatsApp group, and then they have helped one or another person finding a job. So that's like the indirect effect of doing something very positive in the community lah.
And what were the initial challenges or difficulties that you faced in order to get this community together?
Very good question. The challenges, to be honest, when we started our first program, like right after the 2016 Selangor Champions League, when we did our first futsal session, we didn't really have like a grand strategy. It's more of like, oh, we have 10k followers, let's just invite 20 to 30 people, just play for fun. Back then too, we didn't really have a definition of fun. So we just let the fluidity of the situation flow. At the same time, talk to people, talk to the participants. What do they want out of our programs? Do they want to be do they want to have consistent exercise ke? Do they want to make new friends ke? Do they want to do this or that, whatever? So we just took it, me and Izham, our NGO chairman, right now, we spoke about it, and then obviously the committee grew and grew, and then we realized that in the end, just people want an outlet to play for fun. They want to make themselves feel good, and they want to express their love for the game through friendships and all. And obviously the difficulty is actually in the start, not knowing what we actually are heading. But after that, we realized that we have something. Then it's about coming together, putting the brains together, and like, okay, our hearts and minds, and decide, okay, what's the direction apa semua tu. And then, like, for me, I really hit myself hard when there's an injury to any participant, because I feel that I let that person down, because that person, because I've been there, I've gotten injured several times playing football. No one was taking care of me. So macam I promise myself, okay, look, anyone participates first apa semua tu, kena injury semua tu, we send them back home. We make sure that they get back home safely. There was one instance, there's this player, he kena ACL. No one was around him. He just tersalah turn on the pitch, and he lived all the way, like he lived about 20 kilometers away from the venue, and he came through public transport. So I felt bad. I felt really bad, and then we decided, me, Izham, a few others, Iskandar, and a few others lah. We decided, okay, we're gonna drop him back. So we got him to the car, go back to his home lah. So those are kind of things that we want to make sure that we have the well-being of our participants right on. So after that, we decided, okay, look, let's adopt Bombay's no tackle rule. It's can take some time. Some people are not gonna like it, but in the end, ultimately, it's all about making sure the environment and the atmosphere for people participating is safe. That's the first step. And then obviously, as we grow and grow, there are other challenges that comes in. How do we deal with issues of people being egoistic? How do we deal a situation when some people are sexist or even racist or whatever? So we take it on a step-by-step approach. At the same time, have the forward thinkingness on try to prevent any of the situation coming up lah. So we do have, like, when people participate, when people sign up on our website, we have like our 7 philosophies, respect, integrity, integration, and so on and so forth, participation, and a lot lah. We adopted it from the Cruyff Foundation punya 10 principles. So we make sure that macam people who sign up understands when they break the laws, we will completely ban them. We can be forgiving, but we also can be harsh. So to sum it up, to sum up your to answer your question in a very good summary, it's a learning process. Better I kena all the mistakes, so that and also learn from it, so that the next person who comes in after me can take all the lessons that we have learned and take it further than me, because I do always believe that the next person after Khal from Padang Sepak taking over is going to take Padang Sepak to an entirely new level, the incoming team lah.
Okay, wonderful. And you just mentioned about the Selangor Champions League, which in my opinion, having seen from what I've seen on YouTube and all these various platforms, I would say it's been one of the most success stories with regards to grassroots or community football. I just want to know, how did this idea came about actually?
Okay, boleh. So what happened was, in 2016, Khairil Anwar, the owner of the Klang Valley League, gave me a call while I was working at a library. He was like, hey, this thing called Selangor Champions League, they were in week 2. Of the competition. And they're like, hey, we need pundits to come watch the game and give their insights on what's the game. I said, okay, no problem. Then I rang up my friends, Izham, Henry, Johan, and CK from Sons of Pitches. They're also a podcast channel. So I told them, hey, there's something going on, let's go. Okay, so we went to New Camp Bandar Utama, and then we were briefed by Dr. Johan and Saufi Badri and Khairil Anwar and Kamil about Iskandar and a few other people about what the competition is all about. And it's like, okay, that's cool. So the competition was organized by the Selangor Youth Community, which is a organization run by His Royal Highness Tengku Amir Shah, RMS, the Raja Muda Selangor the Raja Muda of Selangor, Tengku Amir Shah. So they spoke with the community. They did their due diligence and all, and they decided to unify, take the champions lah, the champions from the social leagues in Klang Valley, basically, and just compete lah, compete and celebrate football, essentially. So it became the Selangor Champions League. So it was 8 teams. Sorry, it was 16 teams. One of them is PIB, who is currently inside M3. So PIBFC inside M3 in 2022 started in Selangor Champions League 2016. Little bit of a fun fact for everyone lah.
What does PIB stands for, by the way?
Persatuan Ibu Bapa.
Okay, because I work for a company called PIB.
Okay. Persatuan Ibu Bapa.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So what happened was so the competition took off up smooth. Then the finals the quarterfinals happened in MPSJ. Semi-finals also happened in Stadium MPSJ. Then the finals happened in Stadium MPSJ lah, and it was about 80% turnout of the capacity. So it was something that we were on to something. So at that game, I was commentating the finals. It was quite bad. Then obviously, ever since 2016 Selangor Champions League, things started to grow and roll. And then it became Football Selangor, basically an arm of Selangor Youth Community's health and sports punya division. So Football Selangor became like basically a non-official governing entity of football in Selangor lah kan. Because usually the complaints of the previous FA Selangor administration is because their leagues weren't really highlighted on websites, weren't publicized well. It was a very short league and so on and so forth like that. So in a way, it's trying to mirror and also improve what should be done in the state of Selangor. And then the Selangor Champions League 2017 happened. The winner of that competition went to the FA Cup, which was actually Axis O2. I remember during the Selangor Football Day convention, I would say it's a bit of a convention in the Damansara Performing Arts Centre back in February 2017. There was a lot of panelists, which was K. Rajagopal, the then CEO of FMLLP, before MFL was called FM. Before MFL was MFL, it was FMLLP. So around that time, Arsenal was facing a non-league team, if everyone recalls around that time. So I posed a question. So me, Dr. Joe, Saufi, Muzamil from Bola, before the whole thing started, weeks before that, we around that time days before it started, we actually decided, okay, why don't we ask Kevin this question? Will there be a future for non-league teams to participate in the Malaysia FA Cup? So
in line with the UK FA Cup lah kan? I mean,
correct.
They have all the non-league teams in. Yeah, okay. Right.
Correct. So we asked that question to Kevin, and Kevin gave a very, very good answer. Then eventually, Dr. Joe and Muzamil continue on meeting with Mr. Kevin Ramalingam, and eventually the winner of the Selangor Champions League 2017 became the first club to participate in the first community club to participate in the FA Cup, right? And if you recall, around 2017, kan, Stephen, if you go back to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the word Bola Sepak community was very big. You know, back then we had Shah Alam Antlers, Subayang Manjaya City, then the BNM played, all this team played in Bukit Jalil, the new Bukit Jalil. So it started something nice lah. Then 2018 came, the FA Cup, apa semua tu settle, then then the elections happened. Then FA Selangor was FA Selangor led by Tuanku. Then Tuanku brought in Dr. Joe and so on and so forth. Then the torch was passed to Izri Nabil, who is the current FAS miss. So right now Selangor, as everyone know, has gone private. The split of macam, okay, Selangor FA is led by Izri Nabil, the current Sekjen of Selangor. Then Selangor FC is Dr. Johan, is the CEO. So Nabil has taken over since then, and he has done a fantastic job since lah. So Selangor Champions League basically is trying to solve the problems in grassroots football, and obviously, and in 2018 they introduced fantasy football, which I helped out in 2018 and 2019. Then 2019. Obviously, as the competition grew, and then 2018 the final, it was Puchong Freza versus KRU. KRU stands for Kampung Raja Uda Port Klang.
Yep, I know that place.
Yep. So that was the final, and that final was really good because each Puchong Freza, if I recall correctly, they bought about 2,000 fans, and KRU bought about 1,005, but more or less the same as Puchong Freza. So it was a very nice atmosphere in Stadium Shah Alam. Puchong Freza won 2-0 if I recall correctly. One of the goals is from Afiq Azmi, the former national team player. So in a way, grassroots football, lower tier football, non-league football, non-professional league football can help revitalize professional players in their careers, provide opportunities to youth players who are not a part of the traditional system.
Wait,
So
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so in a sense, Selangor Champions League is solving a lot of really interesting problems. So I do hope that other states do have their own initiatives like what Selangor Champions League does. If everyone, if the listeners recall, Football Selangor started out as like a NGO first, then they slowly took over
Evolve
FA
lah.
Selangor. Yeah, so there's an evolution. So things do take time. Do start out with honest and responsible intentions of wanting to help football, and sooner or later change can happen. So Selangor is a perfect example lah, in my opinion. I know that I'm sounding like a Selangor fanboy apa semua tu, but what they have done for not only Selangor football but for Malaysian football, Malaysian sports, especially during the pandemic, credit must be due to the team at FA Selangor.
I mean, would you say that, of course, like what FA Selangor is doing with the Selangor Champions League and all that, I know always, state FAs get a lot of criticism because they seem to focus too much on the professional team, and then there is almost zero attention given to grassroots community football and all that, which is the foundation of any football pyramid system. But at least Selangor FA is doing something. Would you say that this is, in a way, I know, sort of like filling up that vacuum that is not being given so much attention?
Correct, 100%. Selangor FA, I would say, is the benchmark. Is the benchmark of what a state association in Malaysia should be doing. Not only, like just recently, they did the Women's Super League.
Yep.
As straightforward as that, they're doing a lot of initiatives to ensure that it not only helps Selangor but it helps Malaysia in the long run. So in a way, there has to be communication, team building within the state associations, and also state associations should be empowering people who are doing good work. Like Selangor FA, they empower leagues and teams to become better. Like for example, a criteria that you have to be a part of the Selangor Champions League is that you do have to have a social media, so that everyone can help market each other. That's one example. Another example is make sure that every team is registered under the ROSA, so that at least you are a professional governing your team, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things, and also I can go on and on about Selangor, the greatness of Selangor FA. But macam like the downside of it is that grassroots football it's difficult for grassroots football to get the budget that collectively the whole of Malaysia needs. Not only grassroots football, grassroots sports essentially, because it's not charming enough. I wanted to say another word, but it's not charming enough for investors. So it's up to us to do our best to keep it to make sure it's responsible, it's charming, it's lucrative, it's attractive for people who orang atas lah. But at the same time, when we try to knock on the door, not only for FA Selangor, but for PBS, Bombay, Bola Sambosa, and all New Waves, all these communities, orang atas kena recognize lah that we are doing work on the ground, and we are trying to solve problems of the country through sports. Macam the other night, Avid asked me, what do I want to see in my lifetime? I told him I want to solve problems through football. Social problems, economical problems, education, health, and so on and so forth.
Yes, exactly. And of course, you mentioned about, basically you did mention about Shah Alam Antlers earlier. I'm always amazed with the fact that all these amateur clubs, I've seen Kerteh FC, Raja Permain, they seem to have all these progressive mind people involved in football. But I always wonder, why aren't these people involved at the higher level? Like, where are they missing at the higher level? I always ask this question to myself. They are there. but some or other people at the top don't seem to recognize this talent. I think it's about time they need to open up their eyes and see that talents is available. It's time for us to pull them up and bring them in. Don't you agree?
I agree. However, macam on one hand, a budget ada ke tak nak hire these people and making sure that their lives are balanced. Football can be very demanding, correct? But at the same time, for me as a person who is taking care of people, you have to try to be mindful that some people actually have lives. We cannot include them 24/7. So you gotta have that nila. So I think budget is one element, and also another element, macam if I was born in a certain generation, or if I were to grow up in a certain environment, and then there are people guarding for my position, yeah, I would make sure that I don't empower them. Itu if I'm from a different generation and from a different environment lah, because you want to jaga your period nasi kan. You're a bit afraid of who are these people, these people semua tu. So sometimes it's a bit short-sighted apa semua tu lah, but if you're long-term progressive ni tu semua tu, you would definitely invite them to come in and macam okay, how do we whatever. Sometimes I do have this realization for myself juga for PBS. I cannot be Padang Bola Sepak forever. I have to give up my position as the founder. I will still be the founder, semua tu, but as the person who managed the operations, the section of the NGO and so on and so forth, I cannot be there forever. Macam sometimes kalau bila I overstay my welcome, nanti I'm no good as a dictator.
True.
So I have to create the as best as the foundation as possible and leave it for the next person to grow it even better than me. And I can just that saying lah, macam wise men plant trees or that they can't sit underneath it kan.
Okay. All right. Now, tell us some good news about Selangor Champions League. I heard there's some good news this year. Bring it on, man.
There's 2 Selangor Champions League this year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 Selangor Champions League this. The first one is kicking off on depending on when this recording is going to be posted.
Okay.
It will be starting on the 26th of February 2022.
Okay.
Ending just before Raya. So it's a bit of a compact and compressed Selangor Champions League. The reason being is because we already missed 2 years of Selangor Champions League, and the teams who have qualified for the 2020 new season has waited for a very long time for this opportunity. So from what I've gathered, it's about fulfilling the wants of the affiliates lah, because they want to compete. So I think Selangor FA have done a tremendous job listening to the affiliates and wanting to continue this. At the same time, from a far perspective, this I realized in the car the other day, maybe the reason why at the same time they want to do 2 Selangor Champions League this year, not only to fulfill the needs of the clubs and the community apa semua tu, but at the same time to maintain the value of the competition.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's already been 2 years since we had a Selangor Champions League. So if as a competition owner or even as a potential investor, you disappear for 3 years, do I still want to invest the same amount of money to your competition after 3 years? So that's from a business perspective lah kan. So in a way, this one is not official from FAS ke apa benda lah kan. I'm speaking on my own interpretation lah.
Okay.
Maybe that's also another reason why Selangor Champions League is continuing, is to maintain the value and also growth, so that in the future we can have more quality broadcasting. The competition have more quality broadcasting. The competition has more quality talents, like commentators, interviewers, and so on and so forth. Like my role in Selangor Champions League since 2019 is that I actually take care of the commentators and the talent. I have a background in theatre, so I actually spoke to Nabil, the Sekjan of the Sekjan Selangor of Selangor. Cakap dia, Nabil, I written him an official letter saying that, look, can I take care of the media talent for 2019? And he said, no problem. Take care of them semua tu. Then I brought in Des Hill and Sally Bernard, who was a part of MFF Productions, to give a workshop. And weekly, I have an upload and download session with the commentators. 2 of them are part of with Astro right now, Aiman Rozizam and one Khairul Azwar.
Yep.
So grassroots is important to feed talents juga to the mainstream media. At the same time pun, it's also about giving back jugalah. So it's about itulah at the end, Steven, brother, it's all about giving opportunities and pointing people to the right direction, and right opportunities. So that's also one of my roles lah in Selangor Champions League, and also FA Selangor lah, officially unofficially lah kan, as a community partner lah, So the reason why we as Padang Bola Sepak sign on as a community partner to the not only the Selangor Champions League but the Women's Super League is because, okay, community partner is very vague, I understand. However, the roles of a community partner is actually, okay, we talk to the competition, we ask the competition what do they need, and we give the competition what do we have. So for example, Padang Bola Sepak, we have large Twitter following. What else? We have resources in terms of talents, in terms of, we have a graphic designer, we have access to people who can do work in terms of stats collection and MC, commentators, and so on and so forth. So we speak with them, how can we work together, apa semua tu. So that's how we become community partners. So like for the first few Selangor Champions League, I told them, okay, utilize our Twitter account. We were growing 10, 15, 10, 20,000 followers. So give you the much impressions and engagement as possible, number one. Then as time goes on, and we found out that Twitter kind of became a bit of obsolete semua tu, and they can stand on their own through their social media accounts. We find other ways how to synergize. Like for me, like I told you, I jaga the talents, the commentators, the MCs. How do we take care of them? How do we increase their values and also give them opportunities, and also give them confidence? Because usually when people started to commentate semua tu, they get really nervous to commentate their first 5 games, for example. How do I, as a macam so-called teacher, cikgu lah kan, to guide them on how to become better commentators, and also telling them, remember, your final product is actually not your World Cup game. Your final product is your retirement game. So you're constantly evolving your commentary, your commentary skills. Is how do we make sure they're more streamlined, much more responsible? Because usually I noticed, this is a social media trend lah, that I've been noticing for the last maybe 5 years, that people favor popularity over responsibility. That shouldn't be the way. It should be, you should favor anyone who values responsibility over popularity has a very good place in my book, because you want to, you have a duty to the responsibilities that you have, maybe as an organizer, as a commentator, as a referee or whatever, to be responsible to what you are entrusted. Because popularity, when you favor popularity, you only have a short burst of pleasure. But being responsible, you have a longer increments lah, because you are working towards something even bigger than ourselves.
It's something that can last a test of time lah, basically.
Correct. It's a legacy.
Correct. I mean, it's nice to see that how through Selangor Champions League, in a way, we're not just talking about talent on the field, but it's also allowing talent from outside of the field to be exposed as well. Like you just mentioned, commentator, referees, I don't know, groundskeeper, maybe
graphic designer,
stadium maintenance or whatever, because I think we always forget that football isn't just about the 22 guys that are kicking ball on the field. It's everybody else. In order to make like when we watch on TV a Champions League final lah, katakan, it's always focused on what's going on the field, but we don't realize to put up the entire show, it requires everybody, the commentator, media, broadcasters, even the fans, and everybody plays a role. I mean, it's wonderful that in a way Selangor Champions League exposes all these various dynamics.
Itulah, macam like I'm pretty sure like everyone who follows me on my personal Twitter account always like noted that no talents, we shouldn't be focused 100% on the pitch. We should be focusing people who are off the pitch, like what you say, my heads on lah. Not only there's all job opportunities as footballers, there's job opportunities as commentators, match commissioners, physiotherapists. So it's so wide, and it's just that orang tak nampak, and you can create an economy around all these different elements, and at the same time, one thing really lovely about Selangor Champions League, it really helps to expose SMEs, because like all these teams, they get sponsors through physiotherapists, small businesses, kedai makan or whatever like that, and they put it on the jerseys, and there's a lot of pride of being a part of Selangor Champions League. One thing I've noticed, Brother Steven, for over maybe ever since 2017, because I've attended all the briefings except for the first Selangor Champions League briefing. I've always noticed that the teams sebenarnya diorang tak kisah. Sorry for speaking Malay lah, but
Sure, no problem.
Diorang tak kisah. They don't care about the prize money anymore. What they care is about being a part of the competition and go as far as possible, and also making it hard for their opponents to win a game. So that's the mentality of most teams who enter Selangor Champions League. So they have a sense of pride of when they qualify Selangor Champions League. They have an even greater sense of pride representing their community, representing their affiliate members, and so on and so forth. So, and their sponsors, So they don't really care so much about the prize money, because again, that's something that I noticed over time. And I'm like, because I thought when during the launch the other day at Sunway Hotel, I realized that oh wow, it's been since 2017. I noticed that whenever whoever is emceeing the event semua yang cakap pasal prize money apa semua tu, the teams never really talk about the prize money. They always talk about the rules of the competition to make sure that it's fair for everyone. They talk about macam development, how do we develop certain players, and so on and so forth. They talk about players, they talk about their physios, and so on and so forth. So those are the kind of chatters that's been going on between the management, the coaches, and even the players. So macam imagine, macam they already got the sponsors to pay allowance or whatever semua to the players, and also whatever. But the prize money to them is secondary. So being proud, being a part of the competition, the pride of being inside the competition is like memang primary lah. So before the pandemic, if I recall correctly, there was between 40 to 60 teams yang tried to compete to make sure that they get into Selangor Champions League via the playoffs. So imagine how many more people who memang nak die masuk, nak memang die masuk lah.
Wonderful. That's a nice spirit, by the way. Now, in a recent tweet, you did mention that only, of course, this is we have to go back a little bit further, because as everybody know, our Harimau Malaya didn't do well in the recent AFF Suzuki Cup. And recently, of course, under 23 also fared poorly. And you did mention that only grassroots football can save Malaysian football.
I did context. Is it Padang Malaysia Sepak or is it Brother Khal? Is it my admin or is it me?
I think I'm not too sure. I think it's Brother Khal. So I'm guessing
it should be me. Should be me.
So maybe briefly can elaborate. What do you mean by that?
Because I've ever since my admin took over from me, from taking care of Padang Malaysia Sepak punya account, I see things a bit more clearly. Not say these days lah, but for ever since he took over, because I don't really deal with the professional stuff anymore. Yeah, I do get updates from my team and the admin semua tu. JDT menang, okay, alright, cool. Kedah menang, okay, cool. I get those updates, and just so that I can speak with you or whatever lah about any of the recent games semua tu. But the thing about during the pandemic that was so lovely is that when things got really tough, people got together. People who we fought on the pitch and off the pitch semua tu got together, and we wanted to get football back. Not only football, sports back. So we all got together. We put our differences aside, and we just came together. It was like, look, we need to get sports back, because this is the amount that we are losing. This is the economical amount that we're losing, and then this is the social amount that we're losing. What I mean by social, meaning the mental health, the emotional health aspect. Then we're not even talking about the physical health, because physical health, imagine the first few months of the pandemic was quite rough, because all of us needed to exercise at home. We didn't even move much, apa semua tu, and so on and so forth. So the last 2 years of this pandemic, when the pandemic started until when football reopened in September, it was really wonderful seeing a lot of people coming together, we were able to meet with YB Rizal American, the then sports minister, twice to talk about how do we reopen back football, how do we reopen back sports, and then we also heard from their concerns about reopening apa semua tu. We heard KKM reasons why they don't want to reopen sports apa semua tu, and so on and so forth. And it was a very good back and forth in order to get sports reopened. But however, hopes dissipated when around this time last year the kids just went crazy lah kan. Then obviously the vaccination program really helped a lot to justify the reopening of sports. So when we see all these people who, again, when you look at all the people yang fought together, like myself, Izri Nabil, Nazri Abu Bakar, Mutiara, Adam, Faiz Bobai, like so many people, Dr. Azim, who has been helping us a lot, Anaf, Izham, so many people, we came collectively together to, bang up the drums, saying that, hey, what about us? Every sector is reopening, but not sports. Sports is always the first to be closed, last to be reopened.
Yep.
So imagine if we have this great honesty of wanting to carry out responsibilities from the grassroots onwards, and then it slowly builds up towards the professional side. Our football, not only football, our sports ecosystem in the long run will be so good. So macam in a way, I'm standing by on what I'm saying. The future of Malaysian football, future of Malaysian sports is through grassroots sports. It's like, how do we empower, how do we get investors to invest in them, how do we, because as you noted earlier, Kerti, Raja Pemin, all these guys who have wonderful administrative talents, how do we brush up and polish even more administrative talents who have never been discovered? As we said, of the pitch pun ada talent juga, not only commentators even, but there are administrative talents, organizers, untapped administrative talents who wants to work in sports. So how do we polish them juga? So still how do we get all these people together? It's a very tough battle to get people to look, because to be honest, it's tiring. It's a long battle to get people invested in grassroots sports, grassroots football. But I do believe that the future is in grassroots and community football. Grassroots, in totality grassroots, because that's the future, that can save Malaysian sports. Because when you take care of the grassroots, pool of talent on the pitch and off the pitch, tak ada masalah lah, takkan ada masalah. It's just that how do we manage to get the best out of everyone. I hope that answers the question lah. Sorry for always going on a tangent.
No, it's okay. I mean, you're very passionate about this, so it's nice to hear whatever that comes out from yourself. So that's what we want to hear, and I'm sure that's what listeners out there want to hear as well. And lastly, of course, now that you mentioned what grassroots can do, I mean, it can save Malaysian sports. But what would you like to see from the sports association to come forward and get involved in this? I mean, in what aspect would you like them to come forward?
Itulah, macam like obviously as much as we like those macam like strategy sukan 2060 ke, whatever kan. Please, before any association or government officials or even whatever lah wants to announce all that, please talk to the community first. Talk to the people who are on the ground, who are doing the work, who are doing the work apa semua tu. Get feedback of what can we all collectively do for the long run. Then you create that so-called strategy 2040 or whatever you want to call it lah. Because obviously in administrative, political, whatever, you need to have that to sell things to investors lah kan, because that's the marketing strategy. But as the first important step is actually opening up dialogues to all these communities, because the reason why we all fought really hard during the pandemic is because we felt like our voices weren't heard. So I think any governing bodies apa semua tu, they need to go on the ground and find them. And some of them, you'd be surprised, they are not on social media. There are communities out there who do not know how to use social media, but they are doing fantastic work. It's just that they didn't have the coverage. You know, we're becoming too centric in Klang Valley, so we need to go beyond that. So you know, macam those who have authorities, be it KBS ke, FAM ke, BAM ke, whatever, need to have a department where they actually go to the ground and like get feedback on how can we improve badminton, how can we improve football, how can we improve rugby, how can we improve all these things, you know. So getting people to be heard, feeling that they're heard, and also things are being done in order to improve things pun is great lah. So I spoke this the other day on another platform, and it was quite funny lah that this happened. So sorry for talking about politics, everyone, but it's actually really important that I highlight this. So recently, a youth party announced their excos, the executive council members. Okay, so during that weekend, I've been contacted 11 times, WhatsApp and call. And these 11 people are from the grassroots sporting community, and they are part of political parties. I will not name who they are because of discretion, but they have allowed me to share this lah. So each of them asked the same question, and then to be honest, I was like, they coordinated this to cucuk me ke apa benda lah kan. But ultimately, what each of them said was betul. They asked me, Khal, which political party has an exco or even a department dedicated towards sports? Because usually in a political party, in the executive council members apa semua, they have like, okay, for pendidikan, they have a department that handles the the education aspect. They have a department to handle the tourism aspect, the defense aspect, the military, whatever lah kan. But is there and youth and so on and so forth? But is there one for sports? And I told them, because they themselves are political grassroots members or even OTAI semua, I told them, it's a very good question. Can you please ask them? Because since you are a party member, you know, and it's true. Because when we look at history, you know, obviously the Ministry of Youth and Sports is like, it's something like, I want to sorry to say this lah, but I want someone who is contesting an election or even becomes a senator or whatever like that. I want someone who says that I want that ministry post. I want to be Ministry of Sports, Youth and Sports. You know, but saying that to be separate Ministry of Sports, that's a different conversation for another day lah. But we need that one person together with a lineup, because the thing about a cult of personality is that it can become a dictatorship, you know. So you need to have a lineup of people to say, okay, this is the team that we're going in to save Malaysian sports. Not just one person, maybe one person to jadi menteri apa semua tu, but that menteri punya role is ABCDE. The secretariat punya role is DFG whatever, you know, and then the executive for education in sports is whatever. So it has to be a lineup of people to try to change things from a top down or even a bottom up approach. So for all these political parties semua tu, I have to ask them. So if anyone is a member of a political party listening here, you know, what is the plan for sports? You know, because we hate sports in politics, but what about the other way around? Sports, we hate politics in sports, but what about the other way around? Sports in politics.
Okay,
you know,
that's a very interesting way for you to put it. Yeah. I mean, basically, what we need is basically what I'm saying. What we want is potential YBs who already have in mind that their vision to make Malaysia a better place through sports. I mean, of course, yes, everybody will talk about the economy, defense, and all that. I mean, we understand all that, how it's important, but we want potential politicians who, or maybe currently whoever they are, to have this mindset that whereby, you know, I want to get involved in politics because I want to make Malaysia a better place through sports. Am I right to say that, Khal?
110%. And also, how do we package that with education, with health, with economics, you know, and all this tourism, you know, culture, you know? So we need to have like a very good group of individuals who memang passionate in sports, who wants to be policy makers. Macam for example, if we can have a team of people who say, okay, this is our plan. Our plan is to make sure that there's massive sporting participation across Malaysia. And then obviously we want this, obviously the delicious words to be like, okay, gold medal in whatever lah. But the steps towards that, what are the realistic steps? I would really enjoy if there's a sports minister say, judge me every 50 days, you judge me, because we can keep them accountable to whatever they have done within every 50 days.
Okay.
There's a really cool series on Netflix called Designated Survivor. Kiefer Sutherland is in it. To anyone out there, it's really good. It's a really good series about how politics and also integrity works. So in a way, I'm kind of living on an idealistic world where things are run nicely apa semua tu. But this is the reality that we need to save Malaysian sports. We need to have a lineup of people who can get together, and then obviously they have to be funded somehow via membership ke atau sponsorship, whatever, to teruskan diorang punya kerja. Because one thing about sports administration is not really a lucrative and attractive job. So how do we make it attractive? Macam I said earlier lah kan, all these people have lives, so we need to somehow be mindful and balance out everyone's careers lah in a sense. So but ultimately the aim and the goal is to have like a good lineup and progressive leaders to macam basically what I'm trying to say, we need like a Uni 18 but sports.
Okay. All right. Well summed it up, my friend. Okay, Khal. So any last word from yourself before we wrap up this podcast?
I would like to apologize if I went too philosophical.
No, it's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay. I mean, I myself personally enjoy the two-way conversation we're having here.
Likewise, Stephen. Really enjoy everything that you guys have done on the Bola Bola show. The people that you brought in, and also the educational and informational aspect that you bring into Malaysian football. So I from the deepest parts of my heart and my soul, I really like to thank you guys for keeping up with good job. You guys are, if I'm mistaken, 3 years on.
Well, we started basically, I think it was like last week Friday. We sort of celebrated our 2nd anniversary.
There you go. So congratulations on that.
So we are somehow rather, I mean, in terms of our success story, we can only say that we are glad to be around at the pandemic time when people really needed some avenue for entertainment, to listen to something. And, we just provide, whatever available, because the platform is free, Spotify, YouTube, and all that. So that's the little thing that we can do on our part.
And you guys are climbing the charts. So I noticed on Spotify. So
okay. I don't know that.
Keep it up. My admin is the one that told me about it. And I was like, okay, I should tell this to Steven on record.
Wow. Okay. This is like Billboard chart, man. Top 40.
So
all right.
Work.
Thank you so much, Khal. Thank you so much for your kind words.
Then that too, keep up the good work. Hopefully we do have a group of leaders leading Malaysian sports lah. So I don't know who they are. They could be among us. They could not. They maybe not yet been conceived yet. But I hope that we do have a good lineup of people, honest and responsible people, to take up Malaysian sports and maximize do their best to maximize the potential of everyone out there. Because again, on the pitch and off the pitch, we have so many good talent who can actually do a lot of good to change football, but to change Malaysian society for the better through sports.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Khal.
Thanks so much, Steven.
All right. And with that said, folks, we will end this week's episode of the Bola Bola Show. Thank you for listening, and it's goodbye for now.